I'm Mindy Martell from Clothier Design Source and the Apparel Academy, and I have Carolyn here with me today. She is also one of the mentors from the Apparel Academy, and we're going to just be talking today about, how do you make your clothing ethically? How do you make sure it's made sustainably? And do you need certifications? And if you do, what certifications are out there? So we're really going to be talking a lot about the 3 top ethical certifications that you can get to ensure that your products are either made environmentally friendly, fair labor, or organic. So welcome, Carolyn.
Hi, glad to be here.
All right, so first of all, I do want to state you can say your clothing is environmentally friendly or made with fair labor if it is, without a certification. That is something you can say. So you don't need a certification in order to say this is made with fair labor. You just want to make sure you've checked it out to make sure it has been. So there's nothing illegal about that. But if you want to go the extra mile and get the certifications, which is definitely a good idea, these are the top 3 certifications that we found you would want to get. So number 1 is called the GOTZ Certification. Also, that's an acronym for Global Organic Textile Standard. And what GOTZ is once you get a product certified as GOTZ, it's assuring it's made of organic material and it's also been made with fair labor. Number 2 would be OECO-TEXT, and that ensures that the fabric has been made with no harmful chemicals or toxins. And to get something OECO certified, it has to go through multiple tests to avoid toxins and harmful chemicals. And they do also offer testing for leather and other things as well. The 3rd certification that you might want to consider is WRAP, also known as Worldwide Responsible Accredited Production. And that is all about fair labor standards and fair labor practices, making sure the workforce is being treated ethically. So those are the 3 different certifications you might want to consider when you're, embarking upon making an ethical clothing line. I've got Carolyn here because she has gone through this process with many of the brands she's worked with. So we just wanted to have a little chat about, what that process might look like and just some common questions she's had throughout the process. So Carolyn, if you want something to be organic, which of those 3 certifications is the best route to go, and why?
So OECO and GOTZ both have organic options. OECO isn't as specific to that you can go to a couple different manufacturers and after the fact have your item approved, where GOTZ you have to have full GOTZ approval in the manufacturing, the development of the materials, all the way through. So the whole vertical line of manufacturing has to be approved by GOTZ, where in OECO you can send the items to them to get them approved after the fact, and you don't need all of the manufacturing line to be approved. So I think it depends on which one you want to go with, but if you're working with a GOTZ manufacturer, I'd maybe go for GOTZ approval.
Got it. No pun intended. Cool. So getting the GOTZ certification probably is a more involved process than the OECO, it sounds like.
It definitely is. For an example, if you want to have something with a GOTZ certification manufactured in America, there's currently only one facility with GOTZ approval.
Okay, because it's such a stringent process to get it. Yeah.
It's a long process and it's super strict.
Got it. So if I wanted to, so is there another way if I wanted to ensure my garments, let's say, were non-toxic, but also made with fair labor? What would be another way to do that if I couldn't get a GOTZ certification?
Sure. So you could go through UECO, Tex. They have a couple different test styles that you can go for. One is the ECO, which you're confirming. They also have a couple organic tests within there. And then on top of that, you'd want to look for the WRAP certification, which is the Fair Trade certification on top of that.
Got it. Okay. And so are all items made in America WRAP certified because they're made in America, which assumes fair labor standards?
I don't think so. I think that you definitely have to manufacture that because they're not required to have a WRAP certification.
Right. Yeah. And so just for instance, I own Clothier Design Source, the factory. We follow all of the fair labor laws of the land. So we are a fair labor factory, but we have never went and got ourselves WRAP certified because, we're following the laws of the US. So it's sort of, and that's kind of where I go back to the beginning, like, do you need these certifications? It's really up to you and what you want as your brand. But if you check out your facility and see it's with fair labor, you can say it's made with fair labor. But if you want to get certified, then you would need that WRAP certification.
Right. And I would definitely suggest if you're concerned about it and you're unable to visit the factory, that's where I would start to ask different manufacturers, depending where you're going, if they have that certification to show you.
That's a really good point, because being in the industry for 20 plus years that I've been in it, the WRAP certification, I've only seen people really care about that if it's made overseas, because you do have a hard time being able to go visit the facility. You can't always pop over to Vietnam and see how they're treating their workers. So if they have this certification, this WRAP certification, then you can really rest assured that they are using fair labor standards.
Right,
Yep.
Exactly.
Cool. Are any of these certifications required for selling products?
No, so none of these are required. I would say they're starting to be really asked about in industry, especially by people who are becoming more educated consumers. The one I hear the most currently is actually the GOTZ manufacturing, which is interesting since I would say it's the most strict.
Mm-hmm. Right. But it's starting to become important to the consumer to make sure that all of these practices and environmental practices are being met. Makes sense. Can a person get a GOTZ certified item and add something to it after the fact, like additional dyeing, screen printing? So if I develop a sweatshirt that's GOTZ certified, but then I want to print something on it, is that okay?
So this is a really interesting thing about GOTZ, and I've run into this a couple times where you can't do anything additional to that garment unless you want to lose full certification. So if you were to fully produce that sweatshirt, have it then shipped to a screen printer, the minute it enters that screen printer facility, it loses all correct certification. And it's liable for being failed through the GOTZ certification, and they have the right to withdraw any labeling that you've put in that garment. And they are very, very strict about this. So if you want to do additional screen printing on that sweatshirt, you have to find a screen printer who has been certified through the GOTZ organization and send it to them. So anytime in the process when you are manufacturing the item, you can't send it to a non-approved facility. So
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty
Okay.
strict with it.
Yeah. So it's definitely a big deal to get the GOTS. You're going to jump through a lot of hoops. You know, so just be prepared for that if it is something you want to go for. And then, like I said, I being from the industry, I believe there's other ways to make sure fair labor is happening. Because you can kind of parcel it out, like go visit your factory, make sure there's fair labor. You can go to your fabric vendor and make sure they have like testing certifications that it's either organic or non-toxic. And you can kind of put those two pieces together and market your product as fair labor or organic or non-toxic because you've proven those things out. You just don't get the certification. Which is definitely worth a lot in itself too. But I'm just kind of, want to make sure people understand there are options to make those claims without the certification if it's something, that you can't take on.
Totally. Yeah. And something I wanted to add to that, something that's very interesting to me is, say your sweatshirt that you're developing has a zipper. That zipper is not an organic textile, so they don't have the standard within GOTZ, so they use the standard from GOTZ, and you have to follow the standard 100 for GOTZ to get that zipper or any accessory or trim being put into the garment approved through that to get it into your GOTZ garment.
Okay, understood. So it's not just the fabric, it's like every little trim, button, zipper, everything that goes into it.
Yep.
It needs to be considered. Cool. All right. Well, thank you. This was very informative. If anyone has any comments or questions, feel free to ask us, down in the comments in the video. Also check out the Apparel Academy app if you want to learn about starting your clothing line. Carolyn and I are mentors in the Apparel Academy. So if you do become a member, you would get to sit with us once a week, talk about what's going on with your apparel line, go through lessons, all the way from idea to manufacturing, and get your apparel line made. So download the app, the Apparel Academy, on your phone. You can download it on Android or iOS. Thanks for watching.